Hello and welcome to the Refs Need Love 2 podcast, a show that gives you a real, raw, and behind-the-scenes view of one of the hardest jobs on the pitch, a referee. I'm your host, David Gerson, a grassroots referee and certified mentor with over 10 years of experience and over 1,200 matches under my belt. You can find me at refsneedlove2.com on Instagram, TikTok, and now even YouTube. Today, we are going fully off the rails. We're going to have some laughs and talk about what ridiculous things parents and coaches say to us on the pitch, and the taboo subject of how much referees get paid. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the pay topic. I think this is important. I talk about it a lot because no one else talks about it. I think you should know, and we should talk about how much people get paid to go out there and ref. Now, I know that there are some associations that are volunteer only, like AYSO, and man, I tell you, I have so much respect for that. If you can do that and you are comfortable with the quality of the officiating on the field, and people are comfortable with the calls that volunteers make and give them respect and treat them well out there, that is wonderful. I love that. I love that. I love that. Personally, I didn't grow up with that. And especially in my early years of refereeing, I've never been around situations where it's volunteer ref. Yes, at U6, when it's this little kid starting out, we had like coaches out there with the kids. There's really nothing to ref at all or anything like that. But once I started, or my kids started playing U8 soccer or U10, we always had paid officials. And they were often kids out there just doing the best they can at 12 and 13 years old, but they were always paid. And I think it is a wonderful thing. I think it's a great first job for a kid. I think it's a wonderful source of extra income for an adult, and especially for retired folks who are living on a fixed income. I think being a referee is fantastic, whether you're in high school, you're in college, or you're, again, collecting Social Security and you want to supplement your income. I think it's wonderful for everyone. But I want to make sure you know how much people are getting paid because you could be getting paid one amount of money and be like, I feel like this is great. And then literally just at a club next door, they're getting paid 20% more than you. So I think it's important that we're transparent about this. I wish clubs and leagues would make it easier to find. I have to tell you, I spent about 35 minutes this morning just Googling, just looking for pay rates in different parts of the country. And it was not easy to find. Even with my own home state of Georgia, it's really hard. I will tell you, even the referee assigning apps, they make it really hard to figure out how much a specific game pays. I will tell you, when I get assigned a game, the assignment tells me who's playing, where it is, maybe the halves, how long are the halves, maybe the substitution rules, might even have a link to the rules of competition. But you know what it doesn't say? How much I'm getting paid. That's right. It doesn't tell me. I actually magically find out I'm getting paid, like how much I'm getting paid, when they actually cut me the check, when they send me the electronic transfer, or when I get paid at the field, I have to discover, I'm getting paid this much a game. Why do we make it so hard for the referees to figure that out? Now, some associations are very transparent. I want to say that in my Googling, you can find it really clearly on some pages, but on others, it's pretty much impossible to figure it out. All right, let's talk. How much do you make as a referee? So generally speaking, we're going to start at recreational and then work our way up. Generally speaking, I find that for about an hour of work, you get paid around $25. I'm just going to say that as like a base level, $20 to $25. If it's a U10, a U9, U10 match at recreational levels, I see center referees getting paid between $25 and $30 for the center for a recreational match. Sometimes you'll have even an assistant referee on a U9 or U10 game. Now, I know U9, U10, you need assistant referees. Some leagues do indeed have offside. There's build-out lines. There's things to consider, obviously throw-ins in and out, but it's a great training ground for junior referees who are just starting out. Not every league has a junior referee program, but if they do, this is a great place for them. Doing a line at U10 is fantastic. But in some of the research that I did, I see that assistant referees are getting paid about $15 to $18 to run a line for U9 and U10. They're a great training ground for them. But again, you do 3 games and you're a 12-year-old kid and you come away with $45 in a day, that's pretty darn nice. You're not going to make that anyplace else at 13 years old. So that's really great. And I know if you listen to my last podcast about the Florida Futures program, again, if you're 11 or 12 years old, junior referees, and I know different clubs have junior referee programs, it's a great place to start. And again, if you're walking away from the pitch for 4 hours of work and you're coming away with 50, 60 bucks, wow, that's pretty darn amazing. So moving on up, the pay rates increase about, I'd say about 10% for each age group. So at a U11, U12 recreational, $35 for the center, $20, $22 or so for the assistant referee. U13, U14, especially this one league I was looking at, it was like $45 for the center, $25 for the AR. Again, this is, and then by U15 to U17, you're getting paid to be in the center for a recreational match, okay, which is a long match. We're talking 35, 40, 45-minute halves. If we're talking U19, U18, U17, $55 to $65 for the center, and then $35, $40 for a line. But if you're working a line, okay, at U17, it's a long time out there, $40 to be there for a 90-minute match plus halftime, maybe not the great pay, but that's recreational. Okay, those are recreational pay rates. Again, I think $65 for a center for a recreational U17 match, that's cake. Should be easy, should be fun, and I think it's decent money. I encourage people to go to the center if they can, but still, $40. You work 2 or 3 games in a day as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid working some of those higher level lines, even not in the center, you're still coming away with $120 at $40 a match. So I think that's pretty darn fantastic. As you start moving up into academy rates, and again, I'm going to give you ranges here. Just this one academy that I found, this is one group in Northern Virginia, U9, U10 academy, they just had a single center referee, $45 to do a U10 center. Well, that's pretty good. Now, mind you, if you're a single referee, there's no assistant, and they're playing with offside, it can be a little bit tricky. And I know those academy parents at U10 are absolutely bananas. They are crazy U10 parents, especially academy, because they think their kid is like the best player in the world, and the game is so compact, and it's so fast, it can be physical. It's great. Maybe 45 is not a good deal. But at 11, 12, and you've got assistant referees, this league is paying $60 for U11, U12 academy, $60. So I think we're on 30-minute halves at U12, 30-minute halves, and you're getting paid $60. So that is, oh gosh, I'm trying to do my math here, but that's a lot of money an hour. What is that? Like $45, $50 an hour if you add in the halftime in there? That's a good payout. And then ARs are getting paid $30 for U11, U12. That's pretty amazing. Now, it goes up slowly from there. U13, U14 academy, this league had $65 for the center, $35 for the assistant referee. And then as you work U15, U16, $70, U17, U19, $80 for the center. And the assistant referees are $40 and $45. I got to tell you, in my state of Georgia, I've seen some significant inflation in game pay for assistant referees. That the center referee pay may not be very high for what I call mid-level academy. I don't want to be rude and use not low-level academy. Any academy should be at least mid-level of play, right? But we're not talking ECNL, and we're not talking MLS Next. But the academy games by me, they're paying the centers at U15, U16, $60. They're paying the assistant referees $50 to be an assistant referee on a U15 match. And we're not talking MLS Next. I think that is fantastic pay for an assistant referee to not have to pick up a whistle. If you're like, again, a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kid, and you're getting paid $50 a match to be an AR, and you work 3 matches, just do a morning, right? From 8 a.m. to 12:30, and you come away with $150. Man, there's no way you're making that pay anywhere else at that age. Now, as you go up in age groups, again, that academy pay, I'll just call it, is still relatively low from my perspective. At the center, at U17, U19, it's $65 and then $55 for the AR. I don't find that the center referee really jumps until you start getting to your ECNL pay and your MLS Next pay, which starts at $75, $50, $50 for U13, U14, and then can go all the way to $100, $75, $75 as you start doing those U17, U19 games. And I feel like that is commensurate for the level of experience you need to be able to manage those matches. Those matches at MLS Next and the highest levels at ECNL, they are fast, they are intense. The level of professionalism that you are expected and the performance out there as a referee that you're expected to have is absolutely top. And so I think it very much deserves that $100, 75 pay or 110, 80 pay. I forget when it went up this past year, but I think it's absolutely worth it. Now, I will say also your cost of living matters. So if you're in Utah, in a more rural area, your pay is going to be different than if you're in New York City. So I pulled the New York pay off of their website, and I don't want you to fall over here, but New York, and listen, it's expensive in New York. It's expensive. But I looked at this U9, U10, U11 in New York City, center referee only, no AR, $65. $65 for a U9 match. U9. How many of you are like, yo, I'll go with you. Knock out about 6 of those in a day. Easy, man. That is nice money, but it's very expensive up there. It's a cost of living thing, no doubt. And as you start moving up in those matches, you can see center referee, U15, U16. And again, this is not MLS Next Play. I mean, maybe it's academy, but it's certainly not the highest level academy. It's $100 for the center. Interesting thing about New York, that ARs up there get paid half of what the center does. Down by me, I feel like I mentioned the ARs are starting to get paid like 80% of what the center is. So if the center's getting 65, the AR is getting 55 or 50. In New York, it's pretty common as I look at their fee structure. If the center's getting 100, the assistant referee is only getting 50. So there's a big incentive to take those center positions in New York City. Whereas in some other regions, they're just so desperate for referees to fill out a crew, they're paying those assistant referees really high rates. Okay, one thing I found in my research that I thought was so interesting, literally the first club that I pulled up, okay, and this is a club in Virginia, they pay bonuses to referees that hit certain milestones. So if you referee 4 games in a day, they will pay you a $25 bonus. Now, it doesn't matter if it's rec or academy. These are just bonuses for the league. If you ref 5 games in a day, they pay you a $35 bonus. And then at the end of the season, they have season bonuses. If you ref 20 to 24 games in a season, the minimum to get the bonus is a $30 bonus. But it goes up from there. If you ref 35 to 40 games per season, you get a $100 bonus. Over 40 games per season, $150 bonus. That's right, over 40 games. Dude, I'd be banking 150 easy. Emergency referee, last minute replacement referee, $30 bonus. And if you are a referee, coach, or a mentor, look at me, you get paid $30 per assignment. $30 per assignment. So $30 for their mentors there, which honestly, I've heard other mentors about $25 to go to the field and mentor. $30 per assignment. I think that's fantastic. That's great. So I love this. It says, this is great. Bonuses are cumulative. Referees can be paid for working several games per day, multiple games per season, filling in for another referee at the last minute mentor. So you can get multiple bonuses through the year. So I think that is just so cool. Good job on the bonus. I love that. Bring that. I'll take that. All right. So we talked about rec. We talked about club. How about high school? So I can only speak with authority to what we get paid here in Georgia. For high school, a varsity center, okay, and the assistant referee get paid the same thing. So whether you're doing a duel or you're doing a 3-person crew, believe I read the chart correctly, we are getting paid $78.50 per match. And we get paid mileage one way. I do not believe that it's the U.S. Tax code mileage rate. I think it's a little bit of a lower rate, but we still get paid some mileage fee one way from your house. So not from where you're coming from, your job. You mark off where you live, and then they assign you games based on a geographic area, and you get paid based on that one-way mileage from your house. Normally, for varsity, you're getting paid, you have a girls game, and you have a boys game. So men, women. And so you have 2 matches a night. So at approximately $80 a match, you're talking about $160, a little less. We're dealing with $1.50 there. So again, but about $160, plus you get mileage. Your match to work a high school game might be $180 or a night. Now, I'm not saying this is easy money. High school matches can be challenging, but I have to tell you, I find high school matches to be the most enjoyable matches that I referee. I know some people hate it, but I love the age group. I like the intensity level. I like the coaches. I've just found a way to really find my peace there. I don't know. I dreaded it my first year. I thought it was brutal, but now that I'm in like my fifth year, I think high school is the best. So for the money, I think it's good. Now, mind you, I still have to come in really early to work or make up work another time to be able to get out of work at 4 or 5 o'clock to be able to race to a field and change in my car and shove some food down my mouth while I'm running to the field. So it's not convenient necessarily just because the time of when those matches take place at 5:30 starts or 6 p.m. starts. And I live in Atlanta with the worst traffic in the country. So it's really hard to get places. But I think it's a good pay for what you have to do out on the pitch. I really do. I would also say too that it's nice extra bump in pay for me during the spring, which is our high school season here, because I'll work a few games on the weekend. And I usually work at least Saturday, sometimes Saturday and Sunday, and earn some money there. But then during high school season, I'll work, a Tuesday and Thursday or Monday and Wednesday. And in a course of a week during the high school season, I'll earn $300, $400 in the midweek and then earn another, say, $200 on the weekend reffing. It winds up being about $500 or $600. Now, I don't do it every single week and the schedule doesn't always allow it, but it's nice extra pay. Junior varsity is $68 plus mileage one way, so it goes down about $10 a game. And then middle school matches, which are always hilarious, is $62. I will tell you, it's so funny. Middle school, I find hilarious how seriously the parents take it and how they scream in the silence and sometimes the coaches. And I'm telling you, it is sometimes like the lowest level of recreational match you could ever possibly referee. There'll be like one kid who plays academy on the team or two kids who actually can really ball out there. And then everyone else just run around just doing their best, like in a big ball, like a school of fish. And those pay $62 a match, $62. So that is definitely the easiest money and highest ROI there is out there is middle school soccer. It's 25-minute halves. It's crazy. Okay, so let's talk about one thing in terms of fees. So we talked about match fees that we get paid as a referee. How about match fees that we have to pay to get evaluated? Yeah, that's right. If you're not a referee or you haven't tried moving up the ladder yet, to move it to regional, you have to do 25 adult matches that are of a certain level. It can't just be your local rec. It has to be adult, amateur, competitive type of things to be able to get enough matches in your belt to qualify for regional, pass the regional fitness test. And then you need 3 assessments. 3 assessments. What that means is that you have to pay for a mentor to come on out to one of your matches and assess you. Okay, so they actually have to give you a full write-up written assessment for your match. And generally, it is almost the full equivalent to whatever you're getting paid for that match. That's right. So if you're the center referee and you're getting assessed and you're only getting paid $110 to go do a USL 2 match or $120, your assessment fee is $110. That's right. Yeah, this league actually, I've not seen something like this before, but they actually provided a full breakdown of the assessment fees. So if you have someone come assess you on an ECNL match, you're paying them $75. MLS Academy, $75. Let's see, regional amateur, $75. NPSL, $125. So that's right. So your center referee fee to ref that match, you have to pay to someone else to come and assess you. And I will tell you, this is a very different system to what they have in other countries. In other countries, this is just part of the services the referee association provides, or there's some nominal fee of $25 or $40. But to give over an entire night's wages, because you're only doing one UPSL match in a night, and you got to get to the field an hour beforehand, and you got to stay an hour afterhand for all the paperwork, whatnot, you're taking about 5 hours. And rather than getting paid for that 5 hours, you're paying someone else $125 to assess you for the privilege to have the opportunity to potentially move up. And that doesn't guarantee a passing assessment either. You could fail that assessment, and you might need to do 5 assessments in the year as opposed to 3 assessments. So just want to throw that out there again. It's not all butterfly and ponies and stuff as a referee. Sometimes we got to pay fees as well. We pay fees to get certified as a ref, as we all know, $100, $125 to get certified. There's additional, background checks. Oh my gosh, I heard just this week, someone told me that in the state of Florida, that now referees, in addition to their referee certification fees, so they're $100 and $125 to become certified as a referee, and then you got to go get all your kit and replace your kit year to year, which can be hundreds of dollars easily. In the state of Florida, you now have to pay an $80 fee to be fingerprinted. That's right, $80 to be fingerprinted as part of a criminal background check in the state of Florida. Whoa, that is a lot of money. You're like, $80, you just read these game fees. Yeah, but that's, again, 2 game fees worth of game fees. Plus there's expenses beyond your game fees, your food, energy, drink, snacks, something like that. Mileage, you're not getting paid mileage on an academy game, wear and tear in your car, you name it. Now you're giving up, again, another days of wages necessarily if you're over 18 to get fingerprinted beyond all of your other expenses. So I found that to be very interesting. But there's definitely a lot of expenses to being a referee. It's not all just making bank. You got to invest as well to have the privilege to be a referee and the opportunity. All right, a couple more before we move on here. College. Yes, that's right. College referees, they get paid a good amount of money. D1 obviously is going to get paid a lot more than D2 or D3. So if you're a D1 referee and for college soccer, from what I understand, pay could be anywhere from $300 to $500. Every chapter for NSOA, the organization that organizes college referees, and it pays different. So it's not going to be the same. So it might be $300 in one area where it's $500 in another area. Assistant referees, $200 to $300. Fourth officials, $150 to $250. But with college, you might have to travel really large distances. Colleges are not necessarily all, especially with soccer teams, are not in major cities. You may have to travel an hour to 2 hours to get to a match and an hour to 2 hours to get home from a match. Plus, you need to be at that match an hour and a half in advance. And there's high degree of scrutiny. Every single match is televised. So it's a different level of expectations, a whole different uniforms that you need for it, different certifications that you need for it. So like chapter fees you have to pay. So yeah, that sounds like a lot of money, but how many of those matches are there for every official to be able to ref, and how many can you do based on the geography that you're dealing with? Again, it's really challenging. You're working a full-time job and then you need to go work a D1 match someplace. There's going to be sacrifice and trade-offs to be able to do that. And then the pay drops off pretty significantly. You go to D2, D3, maybe that D2 soccer center official is getting paid $230, $250, and the ARs are making $150. But again, you're expected, if you want to move up within this world of being a college official, you got to travel. You got to be available. You got to make it happen to go do it. All right, last couple ones here. Adult League Rec. In my area, the adult rec officials get paid $50 to center and $35 as a line. And again, we're playing, I think these are 7v7s, so they're smaller fields. They still have ARs for offside, but I can't do it. Even though the matches, I think they're 30-minute halves, $50, it's a Friday night, Sunday night, it is not worth it for me. The amount of just pain and whining, just machismo that gets thrown out there on the field, they need to be paying me about $100, and then I would consider doing it. But for $50, it is not worth my Friday and Sunday nights where I can be hanging with my family, having dinner, relaxing after a long week of work. There's just no way. I'm not dealing with it. The adult amateur matches that I do, which are 11v11 full side field, there's player passes. There's a much higher degree of professionalism. Most of the guys have played in college or some semi-pro. It pays $170. I love that. I'll take that, even if it means 5 times more running and much more high pressure in terms of the calls that you got to make and the knowledge of the game. I will take that, even though I'm getting paid the same amount, essentially per hour basis, as the adult rec league. I just will not touch adult rec with a 10-foot pole. Semi-pro matches. Okay, UPSL, it is the least ROI of any of the matches that I ever ref. Again, for semi-pro, we're talking like UPSL, and then there's UPSL Premier in my area. I think the center referee gets $140. The assistant referees get 100, and then the fourth official gets 40. I'm sorry, fourth official gets 70. But for that $140, okay, we're talking semi-professional. So you got to be at the field an hour and a half in advance. These games are usually televised. They are very intense. They are extremely fast. They can be highly physical. There can be a significant amount of dissent. You need to be a top referee to be doing these UPSL premier matches. When these crews who work these matches in my state, these people are regional, or if they're not regional, they are the best of the best in my area. You got to be really great, but you can only do one UPSL match on an evening. You're not like you're working like 3 or 4 of these matches in a day. You got one. Now, yeah, you could possibly work some games early on Saturday and then try and do that later Saturday night. But man, you're really taking a big risk, because you need to be in top physical fitness to be able to do one of these matches. So I think it's tons of work and not nearly the reward you would think would be for the level of what they're expecting in professionalism there. All right, last one, base pay for pro referees. So pro referees, we think, oh man, you've made a pro. You got to be making bank. It's got to be a full-time job here in the MLS. No. So if you're a probationary referee in the MLS, meaning you've done less than 2 years, referee base pay, or the salary they pay you, is $85,000 plus you get game fees. It might be $2,000 a match for a center. And you're thinking, man, that's an outrageous amount of money. Yeah, but is it really full-time pay where I can quit my full-time job? Probably not. Probably not. Again, if you've made it to be an MLS referee, you've probably put in about 10 to 15 years, probably more like 15 years of reffing to make it there. You're probably 35 years old. Maybe you've started a family or want to start a family. Again, you probably live in a major city to be able to fly to all these matches and be available whenever they need you to fly out and do that. So I would tell you $85,000. And if you're working, again, you're not getting an MLS match every single week, 'cause you're only in the probationary period. It's still really hard to make that leap to doing it full time. Again, is it good pay as a additional pay to a full-time job? Yeah, I think that's wonderful, but man, you got to sacrifice to do that. Assistant referees at the probationary level get $30,000 a year plus game fees. And then it goes up from there. So if you're a referee and you do, say, 76 to 150 matches under your belt, that's the tenure you have. The center referee salary, if you're in pro, which is the organization that manages referees for the MLS, gets a salary of $131,000 per year. ARs, though, still, after you've worked 76 matches in the MLS, only get a salary of $37,000 a year. So I just wanted to point that out. If you're a center referee and you've made it in the MLS for 4 or 5 years, which, by the way, we're talking about like 10 people. We're not talking about a lot of people here, right? Like, it's a very small group. Okay, you're getting a base salary you can rely on at that point, and you can make it a full-time job, pretty much, in a major city in America. If you're an assistant referee, it is never a full-time job. So those assistant referees you see at those MLS matches, it is always just going to be supplemental income to your primary job. It really never is going to be a full-time job. Because even if you get to the top, if you are, again, the Chris Pensos and you're the Ismail FF and you're the Ted Uncles and those people, and you've ref 300 matches, your base pay is $165,000 plus your game fees. So it could easily make it up to $200,000 in a year. Yeah, you're getting it. Yeah, it's a great paying job in this economy, in this country. You would be considered to be upper middle class pretty much in any city at that point in time. You're doing well. I just will say to you, as opposed to a top level professional footballer, they're making money that when they finish their professional career and they're at the top of the top, that they've made enough money that they can retire on that. They pretty much never have to do anything else. I don't think that ever happens for a referee. You give your life to being a professional referee, and then you better have some other income or some other profession you can fall back on. I know a number of these guys are accountants or lawyers. They have other professions going on that give them flexibility to be able to pursue this career as a referee, but it's not going to be the rest of your life. It is something that you're going to have to make sure that you keep other sources of income coming so that you can fall back on something later in life. All right. Hopefully you got some value out of that. I know it went a little long. It was 30 minutes talking about pay, but I thought it was a good topic to cover. All right. Now we're going to finish with fun. We're going fun here, guys. All right. Ready? Most common things parents say. It was all ball. Is that probably number one most common? It was shoulder to shoulder. Definitely up there. Are you kidding me? Are you blind? Handball. How is that a call? He barely touched him. Like right there, that's like my top 7 of the things most common that people say. Let's go to the next level. He's off. He's on. Always classic, right? There's always one parent who thinks they are the authority figure on offside, no matter where they're sitting on the sideline. They could be 60 yards away, but somehow they have the inside look on who is on and who's off, depending on whose team it is, of course. They're always asking again, how could he be off? My personal favorite, of course, is protect the children. Yeah, I love that one. Seriously? Yeah, obviously. What do you expect me to do? Tell that kid not to slide tackle? He's going to slide tackle. What do you want me to do? Let them play. Call it both ways, which is always hilarious, right? Okay. Yeah, help me out. Let's tell one team to start fouling the other team more so I can even out the foul count. That would be great. Thank you so much. This one really crass, but I have definitely heard this at matches. You're blowing the game, ref. Again, blowing the game, that's a little bit borderline there being offensive, insulting language for sure. You can't play the ball on the ground. Really? 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 Obviously, slide tackles occur, so you can play the ball on the ground, right? And the ball is on the ground. Yes, obviously, I understand playing in a dangerous manner. You can't do that, but come on. All right. All right, next level down. I know these get a bit more obscure, but I hear these all the time too, or at least being yelled. If I'm a spectator, I hear people yelling these things. How can you make that call? Made the call. Where's the card? You're missing a great game, ref. That's a red card, when it's like literally like a light push in the back or something like that. He won the ball when he slides through with studs, like from behind. Well, this one's a good one. It always happens to be someone who, and listen, I'm not trying to be rude, but it usually happens to be someone who's sitting in a really comfortable chair on the sideline who, if they tried to run, may keel over and die, but they are the ones who say, you gotta run, ref. It's because they know they can't run, right? They're expecting someone else needs to be able to run, even though they can't run. Yeah. How about, you can't be serious. Yeah, no, seriously. Okay. Open your eyes. Another one that I love, and I hear this all the time at high school. I feel like, honestly, the high school parents, I feel like sometimes they're brought up, they watch like a freshman game and they hear older experienced parents yelling this, and they just adopt these phrases. Get in the game. Really? Get in the game? Get in the game. They're literally standing out there in the middle of pitch, running all over the place to help your kids have a successful match. What the hell are you doing? Get in the game. Get in the game. The classic, next one, right? It's not about you, ref, when a ref makes a call. It's you want him to make a call. Do you not want him to make any call? Do you want the game to just completely devolve into an utter melee? Not about you, ref. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Now, yes, do we want the referees to be the center of attention? Certainly not. But we want them to make call, man or woman. Sometimes it is about the ref when there's a call that needs to be made. Yeah. All right. I love this one. Are we watching the same game? Love the sarcastic tone to that one. This one's a good one. Did you even bring your cards? That's good. I like that one. I really do. Sometimes I feel like that sometimes when I'm on the sideline and I'm watching the game. I'm like, man, gosh, that was calling for a card. But again, I just love the extra venom that it's said with. Did you even bring your cards? This one's a good one. Ref, you got to get control of the game. Now, I hear the sentiment again. I don't think you need to be yelling that at a referee out there, but I understand the sentiment. Sometimes I've certainly been at games, and I'm watching games where there's a referee that's way too tentative and letting a lot of physical play go. Yeah, I feel that one. Okay. Now we start getting a little bit funny. Literally one that I have heard. And some of these, I'll sit at a match when my son used to play, and I would just sit there with my phone and I would just jot down notes listening to parents. This one, where'd they get you from? Craigslist? Kid you not, heard someone yell this one. This one is my all-time favorite just because I thought it was so original. I've seen better yellows in a box of crayons. That's funny. Come on. That is original and funny. That is funny. This is a true story. I heard a parent yell this at a match. Seriously, as a kid was getting sent off. Parent yells, "That's 2 yellows, not a red, ref." Kid you not. That's what they said. Another one that I've heard, these are always good. "We don't use our hands in soccer." Yeah, kind of you do. All right. "Check your phone, ref. You've missed some calls." Or I literally heard someone yell it. Not kidding. She yelled. I could see this in my head when she yelled it too. She writes, "The goalie can't be out of the box, ref." Oh my God. All right. Love these two. Just when people are screaming, like a kid gets completely scythed down from behind, like just tripped out of nowhere. And someone's like, "That's a flop." Someone gets like totally kicked in the head. And someone's like, "He's not hurt. He's just faking." I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, stop it. It's just so good. This is one. Actually did hear this. Not making this one up. Love this. Very original. Very original. Appreciate this one. "That was a mistake, ref. You should take a mulligan and make the right call next time." Obviously a golf fan. Love that way. These are good. Again, just the very frustrated parent one here. "It only goes one way." Or, "How much did that coach pay you?" Which would be a send-off in my perspective. I was in the stands for this one. I'm not the ref. This one's good. Heard this one a couple times. I live down here in Georgia, so we get a lot of football fans. "Come on, boys. Less football, more soccer." Like that. Actually heard this one also. These are true statements. I've heard this at the field. Someone yelled, "Nice move. That'll teach him how to salsa." I have no idea what that means. No, is salsa like salsa dance? Like, I have no idea what that means. Maybe they were dancing around with the ball and someone stole it. I have no idea. Yeah. Again, a couple more here, just the classics. "What game are you watching? Someone's going to get hurt. Pito basura," which means trash referee in Spanish. Yeah. And of course, the classic, "He got the ball." Yeah. There are so many out there. The high school ones are usually, you get, "Stop the clock. Start the clock." Always good ones. "Ref, you can use the whistle. They got the refs in their pocket." What I would just tell you is that when you're yelling at a referee, what it teaches kids, even if you think it's funny, is that you're teaching them not to take responsibility for their actions, that they learn to make excuses and blame someone else for their mistakes. It's a problem. And if the ref did potentially miss something from your perspective, you have to appreciate that mistakes happen. It's okay. It's fine. This last thing, and then I'm going to close the podcast here, is just on referee comebacks. Listen, you didn't hear them from me. I would never encourage you to say them on the field. I'm not that kind of guy. Yeah, every now and then I may crack a joke or something like that. Maybe as an assistant referee, like joking around with the coach on the sideline. I don't see these things going well. Sometimes I see people get really, really like bad response on these things. So listen, if you are good at giving a soccer comeback, then all the power to you. And I'm really proud of you for doing it. But I am just not the guy who does soccer comeback. So I'm just telling you right there. So again, some of them that I've heard said, when someone says, "What, are you blind?" Someone responds, "Yeah, you would have found out sooner if I could only bring my guide dog out here." I think that's pretty funny. A cane and a guide dog, pretty good. When someone says, "Ref, you're missing all your calls," and the ref replies, "I've told your mother 1,000,000 times to text me if it's urgent." Don't ever say that on the pitch. You didn't hear it from me. This one I have used at times when someone says, "You're the worst ref ever." Yeah, they save all the good refs for the good teams. "That's not a foul. Tell me that's not a foul." Obviously not, coach, or I would have blown my whistle. "Are you blind? Who said that? Who said?" Where you start looking around. "You're missing a good game." "Yeah, but I was assigned to yours." "That's the worst call ever." "You think that's bad? Wait for the next one." This is always a good one if someone's really late coming in on a tackle. Man, even Cinderella wasn't that late to the ball. How about, and this is, sometimes I'll make jokes, like if someone's like holding on someone, like grabbing on someone, listen, sometimes I'll say, "Hey, hugging, not okay in soccer. Do that after the game," something like match, not during the game. I try and stay away from the ones that are a little bit too suggestive. Usually you have to buy someone dinner before you get a hold of them like that. That's probably way over the line. This one, and I'm just going to end with this one. This is not mine. I have never said this on the pitch, but I do appreciate the humor in it. When the parent yells out, or the coach, "I want your name," and the referee yells back, "Fine. Last name, Pidas. First name, Stu. I'll let you work that one out. Last name, Pidas. First name, Stu. Yeah. Don't do that ever. You've heard the disclaimer before and after. Never, ever use those on the pitch. I'm just saying that's what some referees do, not me. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's pod. I had fun pulling this together. I hope you got some value out of it. It's always nice to know what others are being paid just to make sure that your organization isn't falling behind. Also, remember, when someone yells at the ref, they aren't yelling at you as a person. It doesn't make you a bad person, and it doesn't make you a bad referee. They're just yelling at the jersey. Oftentimes, this outburst of emotion, just let it go. Obviously, if it's dissent and it gets personal, profane, persistent, you got to deal with it. Or offensive, insulting language, we got to deal with it. But don't take it personally. You're not a bad person. They are the ones who've got problems. Don't take it personally. All right, guys, if you dig what I do, please spread the love and tell others. Also, please support the Refs Need Love 2 online store. Pick up some merch if you haven't already. New season's around the corner. You got coins, you got cards, you got cool shirts you can wear underneath your jersey and stuff like that. Everything that you buy gets poured back into making this channel possible. I wish you all the best, and I hope your next match is red card free.